All right.
I
We'll be
tend
live in
to.
5 minutes. So we are on the air, guys. So this is our warm up. Nobody watching us yet.
All right.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, I was meaning to silence that.
I don't know if this countdown is useful or not.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't
John, you're
hurt.
coming in a little low, by the way. If you could
That's a constant
Bump up.
complaint with this headset.
that's
Bump
much
up the
better.
volume.
Can I set that actually in here?
Yeah, so there might be a mic sensitivity setting somewhere.
Now,
Just says automatically adjust mic volume.
even though you know, just because of that Asian stereotype, you're not supposed to answer those kind of questions.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have no idea. Maybe
I have no idea, man. Why are you looking at me?
Try kicking it a few times.
Oh, that was like, hey, Thomas, remember that dinner we had with Pascal? That barbecue? And then John comes in.
He assumed you made the rice.
Yeah, Pascal had brought rice. I was eating a salad. John assumed that I brought the rice.
It's a pretty safe assumption. It's a safe assumption.
Quite priceless.
Is it? I don't know. Even if it was, would you say it? I don't think so.
That's so funny.
That was so funny.
Maybe you wouldn't say it, Rick, but
yeah, you're right, John. I had a good. We all had a good laugh. Yeah, I had a good laugh.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Kevin's not sure if he's going to make it. He's got he had to visit a customer, and then he's got like a long drive back, so he wasn't going to kill himself. So we're 2 minutes out. Yeah, so we got 13 folks watching us right now. Can you guys see the? Can you guys see the counter?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what you guys see and what you don't see.
How's the mic volume for me now?
Good.
Good. It's better.
Better.
Yeah. Better.
Okay, because I did find a setting that I could turn the mic volume up. So
there you go, buddy. Oh, look at that! I got the. I'm still learning all the StreamYard stuff. There's so much I'm not doing, but would have been good to get Kevin on here to do the Frozen Fingers match recap.
Debrief.
Are you going to do the debrief at the end, or?
We'll probably. I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess we'll do it at the end.
Maybe he'll be on by then, but
maybe we'll see. Yeah, let's hold off till the end, and we'll kick it off with Asmir. Asmir, you're going to be front and center. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Perfect.
It's gonna.
Everyone's got a million questions. I'm sure. Like the amount you know about ammo is staggering, Asmir. You have the inside scoop on the goings on at Ely and Lapua SK.
Oh, dude, we can geek out on ammo for a long time.
I think that's going to be a whole separate
series,
topic.
Right?
Because the interesting thing about the ammo episode, Kevin, I think Kevin for me was going to be the most technical. I was expecting him to be very John-like in his analysis, and he just said, "I just buy whatever that guy's using," or something to that effect. That it works for everybody, so I just use that.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
That was a shocker.
I mean, I think the way he processes his his stats is very detailed, but in terms of his ammo selection, he knows if it's good enough, it's good enough type thing.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's a point, right? I mean,
unlike a lot of us, you get a little superstitious about this stuff at some point. I've got my little lucky brand, and works well. I tend to go back.
All right, 10 seconds, guys.
All right.
What does that mean? I got to sit down again.
I don't know what you're doing, John.
I'm trying to get this thing down to size.
Oh, is that the heavy?
Yeah.
Hey. Welcome to episode 4. We have a special guest with us, Asmir from Tessero. Tonight we've got Thomas, John, and Matt Kevin is in transit. He may or may not be joining us. But today we have a couple of things planned. We do want to cover a recap of the Frozen Fingers match at Warren Field. Chris Tischler put together an amazing course of fire. The Mr. Environment or Mrs. Weather showed up and decided to add a degree of difficulty, and it was really a Frozen Fingers match. It was funny, like down toward the middle of the range where the windsock was, there was probably a 10-degree difference, and probably 15-kilometer-an-hour wind difference down there. I mean, that windsock was flying straight out, and I didn't spend a lot of time down that end. But up toward the hedgerows, it was pretty toasty. So, what else are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about the X22 challenge. We're starting to get some questions. Want to get people spun up on kind of what that's all about. I know we covered it a little bit, but I guess from the panel's perspective, are you guys going to try it out? What are your plans, strategies? And then talk a little bit about the different disciplines that go into it. And lucky Asmir is here because he's probably done all those disciplines: silhouette, bench rest. Still trying to get him to shoot a CRPS, but I hear he's got a build going on, so we'll maybe hear something about that. But as I said, Asmir from Tesra, our sole sponsor, is with us tonight. So Asmir, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the podcast. And thank you on behalf of all the shooters who you keep fed with all that fancy slick ammo. And not only just ammo, you're like Mr. CZ now, right?
Yeah, we're trying to.
Pistols, rifles, and we'll talk a little bit, but who else is there? Thomas? You guys want to start out with anything? Anything special?
Not necessarily. I'll follow your lead and throw my 2 cents as we go along.
Perfect. So while we got Asmir, you're welcome to hang out with us for the duration. And if you have to leave, by all means, drop off. But we want to chat a little bit, I guess, about you, Miriam, Tesro. I know there's how shooting got you into a lot of things, your wife and your business and your hobby and your passion. So maybe you can give the listeners a quick overview on kind of how you got to shooting and how Tesro came about, and where did that name come from?
Yeah. So hi everyone, Asmir here from Tesro. Thank you for having me. So where do we start? Okay, so where did Tesro name comes from? So Tesro name comes from my wife's family's Tesro, which is the company that makes my in-laws' company that makes air rifles and air pistols, competition 22 rifles, and a 22-32 pistol, and accessories. And we kind of picked the same name when we first started the company back in. I was trying to actually thinking about this before the podcast. I was trying to figure out what year. I think we incorporated 2012, but really didn't start business until 2013, 14 here. And we started just importing Tesro firearms, and that we thought that's what all we were going to do. Little did we know where that was going to take us. So yeah, Tesro itself stands for Technology Engineering Solutions Romer, and Romer is Miriam's maiden name, so my father-in-law's name. So
I just put a picture of the RS100 Basic. It's called the Basic Match Air Rifle. That looks pretty awesome.
That's how I met Miriam. So that's like, you know the story. Maybe you're just trying to lead me into it. But that's how Miriam and I met. I bought an air rifle from her. She was at a Tesro booth, so she was a booth babe, and I was looking for a new air rifle. Honest, I was looking for a new air rifle. It wasn't just because of that. And then, yeah, so I had lots of questions. She had the right answers, and I bought an air rifle. We kind of we fell in love, and but she was in Germany, I was in Canada, so we dated for 5 years.
Wow.
And against all odds, everybody told us, yeah, do a little summer shooting fling thing. It's not going to last. And then so that was in 2005 when we met, and then we got married in 2010. She moved to Canada in 2011, and shortly after we kind of started the company. It's just as a hobby, and that was kind of a thing to support my habit. And kind of one thing led to another, and we grew into a bigger business because we like it. I mean, Miriam comes from a shooting background as well. Miriam's dad, Peter, so the guy that, you know, the Tesro father, you guys probably heard about Carl Walther, like, you know, PPK, Q5. So he was CEO of Walther before he retired.
Really?
And he was in charge of the sporting division. So some of the guys might know, like a GSP and LGR and those kind of air rifles and air pistols and small bore rifles. So that was kind of his division. So anyways, he retired, and then he fixed up everything around the house. And then, you know, 6 months or a year later, he was bored to death. So he decided to, start making his own air pistols in the basement, just because, you know, has something to do. So then that was kind of a few years before Miriam and I met. When we met, then they were just released the air rifle. So kind of, I was a competitive air rifle shooter at the time, and I was looking to upgrade my equipment, and that's kind of how we met. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, the rest is kind of history.
Nice. And then when you started Tesro, what were you guys selling? The air rifles initially, and pellets and accessories? Is that how you guys started in the business?
So we started really focused on kind of the Olympic style shooting, which is there's a couple of disciplines, the pistol and rifle disciplines. So mostly we were really focused on air pistols and air rifles, and, you know, pellets, and then, you know, ammunition a little bit, and that was kind of our focus market. That's kind of what we started with. So, but, you know, to go through the to get the importing license, is you pretty much have to get all the other licensing in place anyway. So we were kind of set up as a full retailer from the beginning, but we didn't actually even know. That's kind of how it started. Nice. So it took us a couple of years to get the paperwork and all that done. I just wanted I was looking for something to support my hobby. And we wanted to bring Tesro to North America. And that was the initial motivation for it.
So now, are you shooting at all? Are you shooting more or less?
No, right now, yeah. So right now, no. But I'm hoping that the snow will be. There's going to be a lot of meltage that happens over the next couple of days, so we'll be able to get out and do some shooting.
People shoot all year round, Asmir.
I heard about that.
You live in the Ottawa Valley. You can't wait for the 2 months of summer.
Apparently, people don't care about the weather when they shoot, and So, I still shoot. We were just chatting earlier. Unfortunately, my club where I usually go to, the indoor club, they're closed because of the COVID. So that kind of puts it. But I have a pretty good setup here to train at home. I have a simulator, and you can always shoot air if you have a setup.
Nice.
So, yeah.
John's got a similar setup at home. It's a 400-yard range.
Yeah.
Just a simulator.
Just a simulator.
Yeah.
And then I first heard about you because I was looking for a scope, Citron scopes. That's how I ended up at Tesro way back when for my service rifle setup. Ended up getting the S-TAC, the Citron S-TAC.
Yeah.
And that one did well. And then when CRPS started, I think I reached out to you, starting up this rimfire thing, and we chatted in your basement.
You were here, like that's here.
Yeah, literally. And then you said, "Sure, this is exciting." And I remember you were one of the first guys to get behind it. So you were OG, original guy, original gangsters that it clicked for and said, "This is awesome," right? It's and you saw the potential way back when of getting new people into the sport, and it's the whole, the intimidation factor is substantially decreased, and I think it was even well before you seriously got into small bore ammunition, and certainly well before the CZ rifle depot that you turned out to be.
Yeah, so in that time, I think that they had the rimfire PRS. I don't know what the name was in the US, and because I follow the Lapua brand quite a bit, as you guys probably know by now, I knew because I could see on their webpage, and they were kind of advertising it, and they were one of the first sponsors of the. It could have been called different. I think it was called a rimfire PRS at that time. And they had it kind of, maybe 1 year or 2 years before we had a chat. And then, so when you came in, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And you're like, really? I'm like, yep. I watched the YouTube videos. I'm all educated.
There you go. And that was the easiest sell I ever had to do. Most guys are going, what? You want to shoot? You can't shoot a 22 past 100. It's like, what?
Yeah.
We stop at 100, and then we usually launch 100 rounds to hit that can at 100. And then we're talking about starting at 100 and the PRS positional discipline, and then the gear that you need to get that far. Nobody really knew what was going on, but it clicked for you. So thanks for getting out there. Now you're like the CZ Central. So first off, thank you for your donations for the mentorship, the mentor match rifle loaner program. Actually, one of the guys this weekend, Rob Longbridge, used one of those CZ synthetic, and he had a great time. And there's actually probably 7 or 8 mentored shooters this weekend, which is perfect. I've got interviews, and it's funny because it looks like it's a scripted interview, but everyone literally said the same thing. It's great. The people are great. It's not that intimidating. Everyone should come out. Actually, Rob didn't even have his pal. He was shooting under the supervision of his mentor with a loaner rifle, which is, the dream scenario. You can just come out, have a good time, provide a donation for the ammo fund, and we'll set you up with a loaner, the rifle, the dope for the ammo. Right, we got a little printed out sheet, and then your mentor kind of walks you through that process, which worked really well. So we're looking forward to a very busy summer of mentoring. So thank you for all your support, Asmir.
That's how I started. I actually, when I second started shooting, I should say. So when I finished school and moved to Ottawa, I was looking for archery club, and I walked in. There's a sports center here called RA Center, and they had archery club and a gun club, and I joined the archery club because that's kind of what I did in high school, and I did in university, and that's what I wanted to do. And I did kind of intro course, safety course, blah, blah, blah. But then they didn't have a gear. You had to buy everything to do it. Gun club had everything. So I'm like, I'm going to go to gun club. That's cheaper because, ammo. Little did I know where it was going to go. But that same thing, like there's always this barrier of entry when there's no equipment to try out. And, if you have a buddy that can show you, but if you want to show up to the match or everything, and then now with so many different options for gear, it's kind of it's a little bit overwhelming, both in terms of the choice and just deciding what to get and how much to spend. So I think it's really good that people can just kind of go in and try it, and if they like it, great. If they don't like it, then it's also great because then they don't need to go dump a whole bunch of funds on something that's just going to collect dust at home.
That's it. Awesome. So that's it. Anything else you want to call out for Tesro tonight, Asmir?
Not for now. Yeah, let's chat. See what kind of funny questions you guys have for me.
That's awesome. You guys have any questions for Asmir?
Well, I mean, I
do actually.
Go ahead, John. I'll go after.
Okay, I'm slightly off topic here because it's not rimfire, but the CZ, like the Slavia air rifles. Is that something you carry? Hev got in? Ken?
I'll have to
Random
look.
question.
Yeah. I mean, Slavia, I think they mostly a breakdown action.
Because like I have the like a spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't carry them, but there's couple of kind of dedicated shops. I think they're in Ontario. They really focus on those types of air rifles, and they have both the air rifles, and they have good stock of parts, and they might have service them. So yeah, I can send you the names offline, or the places to kind of look. But yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I have one here. It's in fine working order. I just would like to have the bigger spring because it's just the 495.
So
I'd like
John,
to see if I can find the.
Is this the trainer for your rimfire?
No,
that's a trainer for your centerfire.
I have a 6mm for training.
Okay, that's awesome. A trainer. That's what we're getting. Something you can fire indoors when you don't have access to your 400-meter outdoor field. Is that right?
I actually have some winter clothing.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Awesome. Any other questions? Thomas, I think you had a question.
Well, a couple of things. I mean, first of all, Asmir has been a sponsor of this sport in general since the very beginning. In fact, when the Stittsville Club was running the NRL 22, Chris Ward, I believe Asmir provided a T-shirt at every match and a few other goodies for the prize table. So that was that was always appreciated. My second question is, Asmir, from what you now know of what we do, I know that you have those indoors training system. I believe they're called SCAT, and I hope that's the right name. Those exactly. What? I guess I'm going to try ask you for a sales pitch to some extent, but tell us how it works and how it could benefit the PRS. Some of us have dry firing drill that we do in the basement with barricades and things like that, and I could see that you combine that with that piece of equipment, you could have some pretty decent feedback on your wobble, your precision. So that's the question. Very long question, but
yeah. So I spend a lot of time on SCAT, and I made a moral choice not to push SCAT because of everything that's going on, because I knew I would be able to sell a lot because everybody's at home, and I felt like a lot of people would probably drop the money on it, and then it would just sit there, collect dust once they can go to the range. It's a very good system if you're looking for specific feedback. It's made for more static disciplines. There's inserts that you can use for that goes right in the barrel, and you can use it for the more dynamic disciplines. But SCAT's kind of original design is for more kind of static position shooting. So if you're shooting bench rest, if you're shooting kind of prone or even standing positions or kneeling, but not moving too much because the way it's designed. But if you want to see how good your hold is and how your timing is, how your position shifts, even if you're, let's say you're just in a prone position and you want to see how just cycling the bolt, what does that do to your position? Because we look through the scope and we think, well, the rifle didn't move, but SCAT's a bit of a brutally honest with you, so he'll kind of tell you what's happening. It took me like a couple of years and working with a coach to kind of really get comfortable with using SCAT, because I thought it was BS, because I could never shoot a SCAT as well as I could shoot in live. But SCAT is set up not to be kind of imitating shooting. It's there to give you feedback on kind of what you're doing. So it's if you're looking to see how stable your position is and how consistent you are from shot to shot, SCAT can give you all of that information, and maybe we can kind of try to figure out if we can set it up on one of the matches when the weather gets a little bit nicer, and see if we can figure it out. Maybe we can muck around with it at the Stittsville range and see how it's set up.
Does it have to be Does it have to be a bullseye target?
It
Does it have
needs
to be
to
that
see
specific one?
Yeah, it needs to see a bullseye target. That's the
Okay.
only ones I've tried. It needs to see a bullseye target or biathlon target, which is 5 bulls. But I know he has some other target, which I honestly never played with. But now I have some homework to do.
Because that'd be awesome. We could simulate the different shapes that we shoot. Right. I think the biathlon targets are probably the closest, where you've got an array of targets.
Yeah, but
And then you could.
I have quite a few customers that they're biathlon clubs and stuff, and they would leave it on the rifle, so they would go run, like in the summer they would go run, and then they would come into the range or wherever the rifle is set up, because you don't need a range, right? You just need 5 meters so you can get enough range to the diagram of the target, and so they could train. And so last year, obviously, with everything being shut down, quite a few athletes are just training at home or home setup kind of thing.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that it's a bit of an investment to learn how to use that tool. But I'm lucky enough to live 10 minutes down the street from you. So I remember walking into your place on a Friday when you were to pick up some ammo, and you were practicing. And basically, as you're sort of aiming on that target, you've got a graph on the computer that shows you exactly what your wobble zone is and everything, and exactly where your shot went when you took. So, fundamentals are a key to what we do. I think in PRS, combined with different positions. So I was thinking, and I'd like to try it at some point. Is you throw a barricade in the basement, and you still shoot at that bullseye. To see what your expectations. I know John does some extensive testing on what is the point of aim shift or the point of impact shift when he's on a barricade or he's prone or going up a ladder or something like that. So I think that tool could give you some, as you said, brutally honest feedback.
The non-scoped kind of a world of shooting, where you shoot with iron sights or peep sight kind of setup. The position is even more critical, because when you shoot with a scope, as long as your parallax is set up right, kind of what you see is where the rifle is pointing. But when you're looking through with the iron sights, your slight shift of your head, or even a little bit of extra pressure on the cheek piece, will tremendously affect the shot placement. And that type of thing is what SCAT can help with, and and it can show you, like, if you're slapping the trigger, and all those kind of things that you don't really realize that you're doing until something shows you, and you're like, oh, that's what's happening,
right?
And then and then of course you need to figure out how to fix it, but that's a different story.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Yasmin, we get a lot of comments about the sampler packs you offer. Everyone loves that ability to grab a bunch. The rimfire flavor packs, Jeff Campbell.
Yeah, I was going to do the long range sampler pack, and actually I was just thinking about it today. I'm like, I should have had it ready for the podcast so that we can talk about it. The problem is I have very little long range match left, which obviously would be the critical part of it. So I can only make up, a few of them. But
well, you just have to have 4 sets for the guys around you, Asmir. You don't have to worry about anybody else, Yeah, this year's been crazy in terms of the volumes. People, I don't know if you've seen a huge change in the volumes over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the what's happened is that what I like to say is that not to use this too fancy language, but 22 is going through a little bit of renaissance. The rimfire precision is just adding to the big fire of the 22, but ranges have been closing up. Prices of equipment have been going up, that's, I wouldn't say stigma, but that kind of old perception that 22 is just for plinking, for tin can shooting, has been a little bit disappearing. There's a lot more really good quality rifles available at decent price.
Yeah.
It's not like, either get a Kui or get something, super high end for $4,000. There's lots of kind of rifles in at pretty much any price range, which wasn't the case like 10 years ago. You couldn't get $1,000 22 10 years ago. There was nothing. You could get $400 one, or you could get a couple $1,000. That's it. So a lot of guys have been jumping on the 22. You can see bandwagon now. I mean, Thomas knows I've been sending guys that shoot, F class and all sorts of kind of center fire disciplines, because they want to shoot, but there's no ranges to shoot. And 22 is fairly easy to set up, and you guys know how challenging it is. Just because the distance is not 1,000 yards doesn't make it easy. So 22 has been kind of really, really regaining in popularity. It used to be quite popular back in 80s, 90s. And the sport kind of changed with a lot of kind of centerfire disciplines, but 22 has been becoming more and more popular. And you have toys like this. I mean, and there's
So this is
things. Not sorry. Go ahead.
ultimate rig. So I won't name the shooter, but I came across this setup at the Frozen Fingers match. So this is a Rimex custom Cerakote, I think.
With some little maple leaves and everything.
Paul Barrett did it. So spur mount with a tangent theta, 525 on top. So this was probably the nicest setup I've ever seen. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rifle. Anyway, I was jealous.
At least you're honest.
One more question for you, Asmir. I know that, you were or you are a Anschutz dealer.
Yeah.
Why is Anschutz making an effort to jump on this bandwagon, or they're going to keep looking at Olympics? Because I've seen a few excellent shooters, GP being one of them, perform extremely well with an Anschutz. We have here in Ottawa Rob Ross and Bobby Ross, who are, I believe, both shooting the Anschutz. They always do extremely well, but it's a very classic hunting-looking rifle. Yeah.
So maybe not. I mean, Anschutz has some really interesting actions that could turn into a really good build. Did Rick tell you to ask me this question?
Nope.
But they don't really have a kind of a stock or chassis that's really set for this. There was an XLR, but that's not Anschutz. That's not made by Anschutz. It's made by XLR from US. And that had that 1710, which is what JP's shooting. Which is for those of you that have shot 22 for a while, it's based on Match 54, which has been around. It's older than me. Actually, it's older than any of us here. That action has been around for a long time. But it's kind of like very Mauser-ish looking. It's big. It's bulky. It's accurate. It's very accurate. It's very reliable. But it's not a modern gun. So Anschutz has been kind of trying to update their lineup a little bit, and I think it's going to happen. But if you contrast it with companies like Rick was just showing Rimex, and you have Voodoo, which are much smaller companies. It's much easier for them to kind of shift around and make new products, and these kind of smaller shops. Anschutz is a fairly large factory. It's a fairly big company, so they can't really shift that quick, and they're looking for, it's kind of like, I saw there was a discussion the other day about Leupold scopes and stuff. Are Leupold scopes good or bad? Why are they not jumping on the trends? Leupold's a big company. It takes them a while to kind of shift around. So it's a similar thing with Anschutz. I think they're going to come around. I think they're going to have. They're going to have offering, but it's going to take a couple of years to catch up. I mean, everything's pretty new. Right? I mean, think about it. This has been like, at least in Canada, only for a couple of years. So yeah.
At the first match we had in Clarence Creek, I believe you put one of those rifles on the line, and Rick, you had worked it into one of the stages, which was kind of fun. So you actually shot part of a stage with alone a rifle. What chassis do you remember that was it? And I believe that's the exact rifle that JP shoots now.
That is JP's rifle.
Oh, it is?
So I can tell you the story. I mean, JP helped me set it up.
I see.
So and we kind of tested it, just to put a scope on it, and we put a Citron S-Stack scope on it, the one that Rick was talking about earlier, and just as a demo. And I think at the time JP had a different rifle. I think something different, doesn't matter what it is. And then he kind of saw what he was doing, so we went to the demo event, and then JP called me. He's like, I'd like to buy that rifle. I'm like, no problem. He's like, no, I want to buy that rifle, that specific rifle, because he saw it because he helped me set up, so he saw kind of what it was capable of, and he's been shooting it since.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin.
I didn't join. I'm still on site, but I'm driving home, so that's why I'm not going to be able to make it. I just wanted to say hi, everybody. And
hardworking man.
Anyway, so
congratulations on the second place there, Kevin, last weekend.
Yeah, well, thank you. But if you notice in here, I actually come before John. So exactly. What are you guys talking about mostly so far?
We're just catching up with Asmir at Tesro.
That's right.
Just chit chat.
Yeah, I tried to stop by Asmir's place last night. I gave him like 15 minutes notice, so that didn't really work out. So sorry, Asmir, but nice to see you. Okay, anyways, gentlemen.
We're going to go buy more ammo.
Yeah, well, not for me. That's I'm getting a new shooter involved, so all that mentorship.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you already blew through 20,000 rounds.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what are the questions? See you, Kevin.
See you, Kevin.
Any chance of a Lapua testing center in Canada? Have you heard anything about that?
I don't think there's going to be anything soon, especially with the COVID happening. I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. Do you want to talk about ammo testing?
I mean, just briefly just briefly. I know that the Korth group does the Ely. There's basically a 100-yard range in the basement, and they've got fixtures to test, with lot of the ammo works best. And I know Lapua does the same thing. Is there one in North America?
There's one in Arizona for Lapua. The problem is you cannot get ammo out of US, not easily legally, anyways.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as an individual, you can take ammo into US, and you could take it out as far as Canada is concerned, but as far as US is concerned, it's quite illegal. It's quite a good jail sentence for it. So don't try.
Don't do
it. But so unfortunately, that we do have it on the continent, but we can't get the ammo into Canada, and that's problematic. So even though you could theoretically you could travel to Arizona and do the testing, and they have a good lot selection, we don't get that ammo here. And Korth Group does have a setup for testing it at their facility in Alberta, which is just they're just outside of Calgary. And it's set up. And generally, the testing centers are set up with a 50-meter, some sort of a tunnel indoor range setup, so there's no wind or anything like that would affect it. And there will be some sort of a testing rig, recoilless or recoiling rig, depending on the setup. And you would test a bunch of different lots with your setup, either full kind of rifle in a chassis or in a stock, or just a barreled action. That depends on your preference, so depending what you're trying to test. And then you kind of test different lots, and you choose if you find something that meets your criteria, then you can purchase that. It's unfortunately not something that was available for us ever before in Canada. So we do have one for now that recently opened in Calgary. So hopefully, I was actually going to go test but then COVID happened, and plans kind of changed. So
Hmm.
if you live in Europe, it's much easier. They have a couple of testing centers that are readily available. So, but we don't.
That's
That
none
sounds
in Canada.
That sounds like a
Andre-
nice family
Andre-
trip to take.
Andre is saying that Lapu has a facility in Ohio too. I don't know if you know about that. I mean, what stops you from setting that up is just cost, right? Because basically you're operating a range.
Yeah. You need to have a setup, and the other thing is you need to have access to a huge quantity of the
Variety.
ammunition, because
Yeah, you're right.
if somebody comes in and tests, and especially if you're charging a fee for it, you need to offer them variety of ammo that they can test to make it worth their while, and the ammo that we kind of get in Canada, it was just not enough to kind of provide consistent access to that. That being said, on a personal level, I stopped making trips to Europe to test ammunition, because last couple of times the stuff that came from Lapo was so good that I was able to find something for my extremely picky rifle. But I don't know if that's a fluke. We'll see when the new ammo comes in, if it tests out again. But last 3 times I was able to find something and keep some for myself. So I was quite happy with that.
Nice. Yeah, I've got an ammo testing facility in Palmerston. He takes
I
care
tested
of
my range, the Van Cleef Hill. I do have a setup that's what I do. So when
Nice.
the ammo comes in, I lug my half of my shop there and do the ammo testing for a day and see what works, and then I pick out that lot and buy as much as I can afford to keep for myself to shoot. So yeah, that's kind of a nice thing, good and bad thing about 22. It's a bit of a great equalizer. It doesn't matter how good your setup is, everybody's going to test ammo. So if you have a little Kui or little cricket rifle, or if you have ultra space setup, with if you guys want to look at some space rifle, look up Grunig and Elminger. Google it.
Grunig Elminger.
Yeah. But even if you have one of those rifles, you still need to test. So that's kind of a great equalizer for 22. We all have to go through the same thing. We can't easily make our own. It's there would be quite a complex process. So everybody's got to test ammo and see kind of what you get.
It's an incredibly simple but complex world. It's as complex as you want to make it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to find kind of statistically what will perform best in your rifle. So you're trying to, at the least, you're trying to eliminate something that really doesn't work in your rifle.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line.
So at least something that that perhaps you're not finding something that is the best, or that you can prove is the best, but you're trying to eliminate something that definitely is not great. Yeah. So, and then with the rimfire precision type of shooting, the other factors are also contributing quite a bit. The wind at 50 meters versus the wind at 400 meters is a quite a bit of a difference. So even the most accurate ammunition is going to be affected by that wind as you start going further, and then as the ammo starts losing the energy. So there's quite a few different factors. I mean, if you mentioned benchers before, for those guys it's all about ammo. I mean, they test ammo all the time, and they will spend the time to find the best possible ammo, because all they care is about the tiniest little groups at 50 and 100 meters. But that's what the sport is all about, right? They don't ever get up, they don't ever move the rifle. So it's just them in the wind, right? So no barricades, no little toy cars to shoot out of and things like that.
The Suburban.
Suburban vehicle operations.
That's right.
That was a good year.
Well, last weekend we were certainly humbled by the wind conditions.
Yeah.
Top scores were in the 60s, I think.
Yeah. Why don't we chat about the season opener well, Palmerston was supposed to be the season opener in February, but Warren Field ended up being the season opener. So I think it was a wide field. It's probably one of the largest matches we've ever had. I think we were quite a few people, and we were probably using 100 yards of that firing line, right? All 10 stages were laid out from all the way to the hedge, all the way down to the windsock,
with plenty of space in between.
Awesome. Yeah, and as I said, there was probably 7 to 8 brand new shooters that came out, and I think everyone took on a mentee, a mentoree. What do you call them?
I'm not sure.
A new shooter being coached. So thanks to both of you for taking one on. I think the feedback I got was awesome. That they wouldn't have shot the match if they hadn't heard about that mentor program. So thanks to all the mentors that helped out. As I said, there's 7, 8 brand new shooters that felt really comfortable. And I shot video, but as I watched everybody's saying the same thing. So it wasn't scripted, and I'll be sharing those on the Facebook group throughout the coming month. Just so folks who are still hesitant can hear directly from the people that were mentored in terms of what their thoughts were. I mean, ask a couple of questions, but generally, everyone had great things to say about the same people, the squad mates. They got their asses handed to them with that wind. I think it was tough. I mean, they were humbled. It was, and you felt bad as a mentor. As a mentor, you're trying to give them coaching, but goose egg after goose egg is tough. But I think the whole point is, for the folks that shot that, it was probably the hardest match of the year given the conditions.
Yeah, I saw some serious shivering on that firing line after the halfway point.
It was cold. I mean, that's when the gas tank is low. If you're not fueling that fire, with lots of food and beef jerky or whatever high fat foods, you're gonna get cold by the afternoon.
That's actually interesting, and that's probably the subject for another podcast. But after having done this for a couple of years in good, bad, and worse conditions, you eventually fine-tune your clothing and how you handle that weather, which I think some people could have used a little bit of help on that subject from what I saw in Warren Field. So maybe worth a discussion at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew Darcy shot the match and said it was 200 meters. So that's awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I mean, so it's wear what you wear if you're working all day outside, or wear what you wear if you're sitting in a blind all day, and whatever works when you're not moving is. Ice fishing doesn't really work because you're typically in a hut with heaters and coolers, so it's not fair. Yeah, that's right. So, oops, lost my camera. You guys still hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So it was tough. I mean, it was cold. There was points where the closer you got down toward the windsock, the colder it got. Thomas, what was your impressions of that match, and what was the toughest stage, and what was the most fun stage for you?
It was a great match. I mean, knocking off the cobwebs after a winter. I mean, we keep going with the ORPS here, but it's not the same. A CRPS is fun. You travel for it. I was super lucky. I traveled with Pascal and Avery, and my hat goes off to Avery. She's just little, and she sat through this weather. She did good. She never lost her smile. So that was pretty cool. In terms of, I mean, obviously the wind was challenging. And I don't know if there's really a stage that I enjoyed more than the others. I just felt rusty. Even the new shooters on our, because I'm not going to say that I mentored. I think we mentored as a team, and thank goodness Pascal was here, because one of the guys, Mitchell, actually had a MOA scope, which I don't really speak MOA, so it was convenient to have Pascal there to have my back and help Mitchell do pretty well. So stages were all fun. I demonstrated so many of the common mistakes. I think I got to the line 3 times and forgot to open my scope caps. At some point, I was 1 revolution off on my scope. I forgot to reset my turret. Well, I didn't reset it in the right place, so I was shooting 6 mil up above the target, and I was swearing about it. I just didn't understand what was going on. So, I was just taking one for the team, teaching moment. But no, it was a great match.
Right. Awesome. John, what do you think about it? What was your impressions and observations? And
that's a tricky
just
one,
in
right?
case nobody, in case nobody knows, John was first place open and overall as well for that match. So I think John had a great match. I guess is he had the best match out of all the people there. I guess.
Yeah.
We could maybe say it that way, but that thing of winning, I have a little piece on that, but maybe not for now. As far as the match went, it was a typical Chris match. Small targets, interesting props, and you have to stay on your toes. There is no margin for error. But if we had had a calm day, it would have been an interesting match for... There have been a lot of cleans. But that wind. Now, Andre and I, we shot... he shot just before me. And we would discuss the wind before shooting, of course. And it's going to be half mil right. He's going to hold half mil right to start. Work our way out. He thinks he'll be right around a mil in the far. There's no way, buddy. You're going to have to start at a mil, and you're going to be 2 mils out there. And we'd argue about it, and then, of course, we'd just do what we thought was right in the end. He'd come off the line and say, "What did you do?" He said, "I held straight up." And I'm like, "There's no way you held straight up." I'd get down and shoot. I'm 2 minutes after him. I'm holding a mil. Next time, it would flip. I'd come off and I'd say I held a mil, and then when it came to his turn, he was holding the other direction. So there was no way you could help somebody or go by what other people said the wind was doing, because in 2 minutes, it was going the other direction. Yeah, so it was a twitchy tailwind. Yeah. A lot of guys were saying, "Oh, thank goodness we don't have a strong left to right, and that it's behind us." So just wait, buddy. It's probably the worst wind of all. A headwind would have been worse. Headwind would have froze. We would have froze.
Yeah. The squad right behind us was had Ron Sharp in it, and he's got his Kestrel on a tripod with a vane, and you basically could see the thing just pointing like this and just wiggling around like a fishtail. So, aim for the middle, hope that it balances out, and that was kind of my strategy.
I think it was a lot of people's strategy that day.
He definitely had to be ready to just go with the flow and be willing to make changes. If you missed, following up another shot where you missed is very pointless. You had to make bold corrections.
All the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was nothing out there to tell you which way the wind was blowing. There's no...
Yeah, occasionally there was a little spark of snow in the air, and that really helped. But you really had to pay attention to your bullet flight and watch where your bullet went. And, 2 different wind calls, that's for sure. Now, thinking about the new shooter coming, I felt sorry for them in a sense with it. It gave an unfair view of how a match typically is. I have never shot a match with that difficult of a wind yet, and I think you'll do much better next time, because we'll have a beautiful 3-mile-an-hour wind, we'll say. Keep you thinking positive.
Steady 3 mile an hour left to right.
Yeah. Now, going through the day, stage 1 I timed out, and I was a little disappointed with myself. I started on stage 1. On the airplane stage, I started on target number 2. I dropped one shot down. I seen my bullet fly. I missed to the left. I corrected. I could see my bullet fly center, 3 times, and I did not hit. And so finally, I took my head off the gun. I looked, and here I'm shooting at the airplane that's pointing down, not the airplane that's pointing up. And at that point, I figured I had lost the match, because you can't pull a mental error like that when you got Kevin around and expect
Kevin's
to win.
right on your tail.
Exactly. It really frustrated me, and I decided I'm not going to think about it and carry on. At the end of the day, I did not believe I was in the running. I had simply dropped too many points. It was a 65% hit rate, and typically we see in the 80s for first place, right?
Yeah.
And I was shocked that I actually was able to get first place,
Score 2 points.
considering how I felt.
Yeah.
2 points, yes, but that's
2
not
points.
much.
That's close. That's a mistake he made and a hit you made.
That was
Right?
close, but not
Yes.
uncommon anymore. The
True.
the top guys are usually within a few hits of each other, which means you drop the ball once, you might have just lost your position.
If you had tied,
Exactly.
he would have got you on the tiebreaker time. Because you timed out on the tiebreaker stage, and he.
I had
finished
one
with
more
5
hit
seconds
than
to
he
spare.
did, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
true.
when we
You-
came to the tiebreaker stage, I thought
Oh,
to
you
myself,
checked.
is this a points day or is this a time day?
Oh, you even
And
checked.
I decided it's a points day.
Yeah.
So I deliberately went very careful and slow.
Okay.
I timed out, but I got 8 impacts.
Nice.
He
Nice.
he
Good for
was
you.
5 seconds under, but he
Yeah.
only got 7.
Oh, smart. Oh man, all these little strategies I didn't even think about. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make hits, man.
I'm just trying to beat Kevin. I can say that because he's not here to defend himself.
you gotta have a goal. That's awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing is when you get to that in that top 10, you understand how fine that line is between a 4th place finish and a 15th place finish. There is no room for mistakes, and so the pressure can get really high if you let it. But
Yeah.
we had a good time, and it was a really fun squad. And yeah, see you at the
Cool.
next one.
Yeah. You changing anything? Either of you, Thomas or John, changing anything for the next match?
Try not to forget to open the scope caps. This is getting embarrassing. No, everything worked out really well. It's my first match shooting open. I didn't finish last, so I was quite happy about that. And the CZ build that I put together, the ammo testing and dialing in the drop data, all worked out. The problem was the shooter in the wind.
There you go. So hopefully there's less wind or more favorable winds. Put it
Right.
that way. There's always going to be wind. There's only been
No
probably
promises here.
5% of the matches that there's been very little wind.
Yeah.
But no,
And
wind
the
is
next
a reality.
match is tricky because at John's, if you set it up like you did last year, you shoot over 270 degrees. So sooner or later, that wind is either going to be, on your side at your 45. I mean, it moves. So that makes it kind of fun because it's not all the same.
That's it.
I'm hoping to almost get the 180 in one stage. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's a lot of fun.
Nice. You haven't shot that match yet, eh, Matt? At
Nope.
John's place?
Nope. Yeah, I'm looking
That's a lot
forward
of
to
fun.
it.
Yeah. It's kind of an L-shaped property, right, John?
Yes, it'll be set up
Yeah.
same as last time. We'll set up with the L.
Nice.
It's going to be a little bit challenging with all of the snow. And this coming week, we're working in Windsor, so I won't even be home. So I have to get it set up this weekend.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes with the snow.
Good luck. So that match is sold out. We are processing the wait list this week. We'll have to chat, John, to see how many you can actually hold. We'll chat. I'd like to get everybody out if we could, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Depends on what the capacity is and all that. I think in terms of outdoor gatherings, we're good because it's an organized event. We fall under the COVID restrictions, so it's just a question of how many people we want. So it's good.
Yeah,
chat.
we'll talk Saturday night. See
Yeah.
see
Hey,
how
did you
this all
buy
goes.
Did you buy a new game changer bag?
Yes,
Did I read that right?
that'll be the change, I guess. I got the
It's a
heavy,
heavy, right?
the
Looks like a
medium.
heavy
Yes,
medium.
I wanted it
I got-
for a little while, and I picked up a couple of boxes of ammo at Bullseye, and I seen they had one on the shelf, so took one home.
Why'd you buy the heavy?
Stability.
curiosity.
Yeah, so I have the sticky, and I've been running that exclusively, and I really like the sticky for certain
Yeah.
things. But I find, depending on the scenario, I want to be able to slide my bag, and I cannot. And also, the light fill, I don't
Yeah.
feel it forms as well. So
Yeah.
if you hit it, this is dead
Yeah.
solid,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I feel it will help with the stability. Yep.
Matt,
But we'll still have the sticky along.
Are you running your homemade ones, Matt? Still?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. John got a new bag because I just finished making a new bag for Kevin. So both of you will be running new bags in Palmerston, and so the reason why Kevin needed a new bag is because his mom made the one he's currently running, and it's well made, but she didn't use like 1,000 denier cordura, so it's just ripping in some spots. So it's like, Matt, I need a new bag, so just make one for me. So I just copied the design. So he has a new bag, and I'm playing around with the fill as well. I bought some kinetic sand to try and fill it with.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's similar to the heavy fill, but I'm still kind of playing around with what I'm going to use. But I run my bags exclusively, and Thomas there borrowed one of my bags for.
I had the
Warren.
privilege of shooting this great little bag here this weekend, and thank you very much, Matthew, for this. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
I've never actually approached a stage with a free hand before.
yeah.
awesome.
So that bag Thomas just showed. If you want to just show it on camera, that's a bag. It's a collaboration between Kevin and I. So Kevin 3D printed the plate, and I sewed the bag on the bottom there, and you can see it attaches onto your Arca rail. So it frees up a hand if you're using a tripod or something at the back, or if it's just a stage that has a lot of movement and you don't have time to move your bag around. You can just move one thing. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, like
You've
those
got a
multi-port or ladder stages. Yeah,
Ladder
Exactly.
stage, cattle gates, that kind of. I used it on the cactus. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Thomas. Like, I remember at John's match, you and I were talking. You were trying to sell me on a division that didn't have all these fancy bags with tripods.
Listen,
Am I misremembering that?
I even got a tripod. I'm embarrassed to say it, but well, listen.
It doesn't take long,
if you
does
can't
it?
beat him, join him, right?
Yes,
So
hey, you know, Rick, you know what would be great if we had a division for simplicity. You know, none of those extra bags or tripods, just a man and his rifle and one
Exactly.
bag.
No, that's what ORPS is for now. CRPS is a whole other story.
that's right.
For the match on Saturday, the tripod, I think, was a significant factor in the hits I could make. Because if you run good glass, you can see the bullet fly. With the tripod, I could be stable. It was not about hitting the targets. We can hit those targets without the tripod. But it kept me steady so I could see the bullet fly, and that would allow me to see how much I missed by. So,
Yeah.
it's a good thing, Thomas.
I
With a
actually
good
left the tripod for the binos because I'm still so clumsy with that thing. And if I can offer advice to anybody, is do not try a tripod on a match for the first time because it's
Nope.
it takes a little bit of practice.
That's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, yeah, you learn
But-
quickly.
Like going back to the bag thing.
First time at a match.
Right.
Well, you're adventurous, Asmir. Yeah. The bags though, it's nice to have a variety sometimes. So like if you can share bags amongst your, in your squad even, and just have, a little selection depending on what stage it is, it's sometimes a good idea.
I'm going to squat up with Matt. all the time.
I bring, well, I think I mentioned this before, but I bring a milk crate with all the different bags I made, like different shapes and sizes and fills and stuff. So it's like, oh, just look at the barricade. All right, I choose this bag, like, for one stage, the other. Yeah.
But I think you can
I
boil
prefer
it down.
simplicity.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But
Yeah.
simplicity at this point has been defined as to one of these, a sticky game changer, and a pump pillow. That would be the.
Yes.
Let me coin this the Holy Trinity.
Oh, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity.
So what is this name yet? A Fat Kev?
So we're just colloquially between us, we call it the Kev Fat. You know, Kevin and Wom Fat.
I think it's funnier if
Kev
it's a
Fat?
Fat Kev.
Or Fat Kev, yeah. So we
Are
are
you
going to
guys selling that,
fire.
or
I was
you
just going to
selling
say
those?
we're firing up production. We designed a slightly smaller version so you can print the plates quicker because it's a 12-hour print, so it's quite long. And I have my sweatshop set up downstairs. I'm going to start pumping out those bags. Yeah. So we will be selling them if anyone's interested, but it's going to be a limited quantity. We're not going to make
Right.
1,000. Yeah. So it's going to be quite a small amount that we make.
Oh, so like a limited edition is going to be signed?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll engrave our names into it or something.
That's it.
It's got the
Kev Fat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
the Fat Kev.
Cool. That's awesome. All right.
So all in all,
Any-
an amazing match. Huge shout out to Chris Tischler.
Yes, Chris.
Well put
Awesome.
together.
The sunshine was nice when you got out of the wind. The sun was gorgeous. Yeah, awesome.
So being
So that's the match.
statistics,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
being the statistics guy that I am, I look back 2018, 19, and 20. I forgot to bring my paper out here, but the hit percentages of the average have been going up every year. And I say every year, the trend is upwards. This last match was 2021, it was down.
A little bit.
And but that is because of the difference between the experienced shooters and the newer shooters with the high wind conditions. But in general, across Canada, I think the average is going up. The average shooter is getting better, and the statistics can show that very easily. So I think that's kind of fun from my perspective, looking at it, watching everybody getting better, and everyone has to try harder.
Yeah. And people just getting into the sport also have to realize that you've got guys who are there from the first match. So 3 years ago. So it's not that you're playing catch up, it's that you gotta compare yourself to the others in your generation of shooters. And then what my advice to all the new shooters is, if you're not getting the hits on the up close targets, then there's something in the fundamentals that you need to work on. That there's no amount of gear. It's a software you have to work on at that point, right? So all the 100, 125, 150, 170, those should all be doable with decent fundamentals and decent dope. So most guys won't get tripped up too badly. But again, get to a Project Maple Seed if you can. We're about to start announcing. I think late March, early April is when the schedule is going to come out. So get to mapleseedrifleman.com, subscribe for updates so you can be among the first to sign up for events in the area near you. And we have them all across Canada. So that'll be the answer for a lot of people who want to get better at their shooting. So,
I think if you're starting in now, you will progress a lot faster than 3 years ago, because there is so many more people who have experience too.
yeah.
In 2018, that first match, I mean, I wasn't there, but the rifles that were used, the optics that were used, the ammo that was used, and compare that to now, like, that was the time to start, because
For sure.
this loaner rifle over here, what did I do? 15 for 15 on a 5-inch plate? Like, it's not like you're starting with a Cooey.
Right.
Come out and give it a try.
Yeah. Actually, Andrew Vincent, who shot the match this weekend, was actually at the very first at the very first Owen Sound match, and I think he medaled also, if I recall. So his skill set
In
has
production.
in production. I think everybody was production back then. The overall, so the Owen Sound match, the overall high score was one with a Savage Mark II and a loophole 3-9 scope.
It's awesome.
But he'd put like probably 100,000 rounds through that rifle. He just showed up and shot lights out. So
Beware of the guy with the Mark II and a shiny bolt handle.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, he was crazy good. Just nice guy too. All the guys that come are nice guys. So yeah, so that was the match. So the next match is the
20th. Yeah.
The
20th.
20th. Correct. So if you're looking for events, rimfireprecision.ca/events. All of our events are there. It's grouped by type. So if you scroll down, you'll see the X22 and the Sniper Series matches kind of in groups. So most of the upcoming matches are already sold out, or you'll be on a wait list for the March and April. And so that's it. Yeah, March 20th. Then after that is the X22 inaugural match at East Elgin on April 3rd. And there's still a few spots open. There's 7 out of 50 spots open. That's East Elgin. And that is our segue into the next topic, which is X22. We're about an hour in. So we'll probably spend just a little bit of time because I think the goal for this is, again, just to give people some idea of what the X22 challenge series is all about and how that contrasts to CRPS. And there's still some confusion in terms of what it is really compared to the others. But let's talk about what it is. So the X22 challenge series. So why did it come about? I think it's really as a response to there's something, our goal again is to get everyone out shooting and just enjoying the sport in whatever way they want to or can. So the CRPS really was riding that wave of positional PRS style shooting events that became very popular in the last few years, and it's been great. We've got probably close to 1,000 shooters across Canada participating in the various iterations, Outlaw and CRPS, and really the guys that were shooting semi-auto felt that they were outgunned, or it really wasn't the type of event for them. So what we want to do is offer a more multidiscipline, cross-sectional approach to shooting skills competition, kind of like a Top Shot or a Top Gun in Canada. And that's kind of what the X22 Challenge Series is all about. And we call it X22 because it's really based around arguably the most popular model of rimfire rifle out there, which is the 1022 and all the 1022 based clones. And there are many great ones. And the goal here is to bring a lot of different types of shooting events into one match series and really test your skills. So from an overview, you've got 2 long range PRS stages, which is going to be between 100 to 350. I mean, we're going to be in the middle, probably around the 200, 250 range. Our goal isn't to try and catch you out. Our goal is to say, hey, do you confidently approach a barricade? Are you able to build a solid position and hit 2 out of the 4 PRS skill stages? So there's PRS skill stages out there. There's 4 standard ones. We're going to be using 2 out of those 4 at every match. So you can look online and find those, and we'll be using a variation of that. What's going to be consistent is the position and the shot counts will be consistent. The target sizes and the orientation will be scaled down to suit our rimfire rifles. And then from there, we go into the short range ORPS. So this becomes a more technical test. And that's where the fun props will come out, where you've got the standard 6-foot step ladders, you've got the folding chair, you got the milk crates, or you got the tires, or you have the barrel. I'm actually getting tired of that barrel. Who's tired of the barrel? No, you guys still love the barrel? All right,
Yeah,
we'll keep the barrel. We'll keep the barrel then. And then we this year we brought out the sawhorse, which adds a lot of different options there as well. So we're gonna have 2 short range ORPS. So now you've got short and you've got long. So then you've got technical skills, and then we bring in the silhouette. So the silhouette steel stages, those are shot standing. right? So those are standing stages, self-supported. You can use a sling, and then we're using a different division. So unlike the regular silhouette where you've got different categories by weight and something else, it's really just based on the division you fall in based on the equipment. And the standard silhouette small bore is shot at 40, 60, 77, and 100 meters. And those are chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams, respectively. So we're going to have two of those four at each match. And it'll be a 2-minute stage, just like regular silhouette. It'll be hanging off a rack. There'll be five chickens, or 5 pigs, or 5 turkeys, or 5 rams at whatever standard distance it's supposed to be at. And you've got 2 minutes to make 10 shots. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start over again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that same rack, and that'll be 2 of those 4 distances. And then from there, oops, what did I do?
I'm super excited about the silhouette. That's a discipline that I wish we had locally, access to locally.
Well, so the goal of this is actually the Trojan horse, because next year each of those will get broken out into its own series. So you'll have the Silhouette Steel series next year. That again, just like ORPS or Rimfire Race Guns, your club or range can host. So if you want to practice, you can already get the steel from Guangzhou Targets, or Pat steals and targets of all kinds. Can't remember what is the most current name is, but Pat Robitaille on Facebook selling these. So again, those will be the Silhouette Challenge. Silhouette Steel series next year, and it's fun. I shot it at at Sherwood Park Fish and Game last year, and I said this is going to be awesome, right? And then from there you move to the rimfire race gun stages, where if you like up close steel with a semi-auto, it is a ton of fun. It is a ton of fun. Typically it's between 10 to 25 meters. You've got typically 5 to 7 steel targets placed at various distances and heights, and there's a set shooting sequence that you've got to execute, and hitting the stop plate at the end. So that's really a speed steel. How fast can you hit the right sequence and hit the stop plate? And you get 5 runs at each stage. So we're gonna have 2 of those stages, and your best 4 stage times will count for your stage score. So and you can see people get so amped up, and usually the 5th one is where they crash and burn, because they're just putting all the gas they've got into it, which is awesome. That's fun. I love it. I think for me that's the most exciting. And Adrian Lashinsky was the surprise speed steel shooter last year when we had it at Warren Field. And until you shoot it, you don't know who the winner's going to be. And out of nowhere, this unexpected dark horse comes and just cleans up. So guys were shooting 3 seconds, and I think he came in like 1.7 or 1.9 or something, some ridiculously fast number. And that's where kind of the 1022 semi-auto with the fancy triggers kind of come in, and it's not really about aiming. It's about timing your trigger pull as you sweep the targets, and there's many ways to do that. And then finally, we have 2 stages of 2 scored paper target stages. So if we do break this out, this is basically bench rest. We're going to call it Rimfire Precision Series, which is scored paper targets. This is shot prone with your bipod, and really it's how good, how accurate, and how precise are you. And one distance is going to be 50 meters, and that's going to be I think it's 50 different targets. 25 targets. I can't remember the target right now. It's been a few months since I looked at it. And then the 100 meter is you're shooting a group of targets. So one is transitioning from target to target at 50 meters, and then the 100 meters is shooting for score as a group of shots. So, and the title sponsor for that is Canada's Gun Store. We're going to be making a big announcement on that shortly. We're just waiting for the website to go online. The web store, the website is up and running, but the web store is not open yet. And they want to be the dominant player in Canada's online shopping experience. So there'll be a full line store, and they are the title sponsor for that. So that's it. So you can see that it's a large range of different events. Now you think about one man, one rifle, right? So from a platform perspective, the way we broke out the divisions is you've got stock division, which is anything off the Ruger 1022 catalog. So whether it's $300 or $1,000, it's a stock rifle. If you take apart from a $1,000 Ruger and you put it on the $300 Ruger, you're now in open, which is basically it's a modified 1022 now. So you're no longer stock. And are we going to check the only thing we're really going to check for is trigger weights, right? If you're running a stock 1022, there's no way it should be pulling below 4 pounds or 3.5 pounds, right? If it's breaking at 2.5 pounds, then we know you're no longer in stock. Some of the competition ones, I mean, they're making some pretty good competition models now. I think there's 3 or 4 serious contenders in the stock division. But again, at a certain point of time, it's how reliable is it, how accurate, and how good are you as a shooter. So then we move into the open, which is modified 1022. So it's, there's no limit. Sky's the limit. The minute you modify it, you're there. Unlimited is that third division, which is any 1022 patterned rifle that runs 1022 mags not made by Ruger. Okay, so the Brigaro BXRs, the TCRs, so the Thompson Center. You've got the Winchester Wildcat. You've got the Delask Arms. You've got the Taxol.
Grey Birch.
Grey Birch. Delask is actually joining us as a sponsor for this series. And Tactical Solutions is also joining us as a sponsor for the series. We're just finalizing that now in terms of what we'll have on the line. Grey Birch, huge sponsor of CRPS, and also obviously a great play into X22 challenge here. So those are the unlimiteds, and again, you're free to mix and match however you want. And then the final division in X22 challenge series is Outlaw, which is basically if you don't fall into any of those categories, you will fall into the Outlaw. So if you want to use a single shot on shoots, you're an Outlaw. If you want to use a 5.97, you're an Outlaw. If you want to bring cricket, you're an Outlaw, right? And why do we pick the 1022? We had to pick something, right? And again, for us, arguably, it's the semi-auto platform with the most aftermarket support, I believe, out there, and with enough aftermarket support from completely brand new rifles to make it interesting for people. And also, if you look at the challenge series, there's the opportunity now to break it out into different winners by discipline. So if you're not really caring about the race gun stage, you can still do really well in silhouette and say, hey, I'm the silhouette guy, right? Or all you care about is the race gun stage. Hey, I'm the race gun guy. Or if you're there for paper targets, but it's also nice to know how you do in the rest of them and know what you want to work on. So this one gives you the full range of it's positional shooting up close and far. You've got standing positional, right? Up close and far. Race gun, which is how fast can you hose targets, in the shortest, fastest amount of time. And then how accurate and precise are you in paper target stages? So for me, my plan, unless someone borrows it, is to run one of the loaner rifles that our fabulous vendors are providing us. So it could be a full Grey Birch build. It could be a ready to rock, race ready Delask Arms. It could be and Delask is putting together a very nice custom rifle for folks to try out. I think it's basically they looked in their parts kit and said, let's pick all the best and do a custom build for X22. So that'll be a fun one to shoot. Tactical Solutions giving us a Vantage X-Ring rifle as a loaner. We've got, Matt, you've got the Spectre Ballistics build with the IBI barrel. I think that's still got the stock trigger, right?
Yeah, it has a slightly upgraded trigger, or maybe it's just been fired a million times because it's pretty smooth. But it's a Ruger receiver, but it has the IBI carbon barrel in it.
And I just got off the emails with Tandem Cross. So Tandem Cross is coming on board as a sponsor for the X22 Challenge Series. So that build's getting a Tandem Cross trigger upgrade. I think it's a Brimstone. It's a Brimstone trigger.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Awesome.
So there's some relationship between those two companies. I can't remember what it is. What else? Yeah, I'm waiting for the Grey Birch Foundation chassis that is I think you're waiting for one too, right, Matt?
Yeah. I won one at the Eastern Finals. So
There you go.
I just got an email today, expected shipment in 2 weeks or so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that's the series. And so what's the goal? It's really to provide a broad range of different disciplines in one event. So we'll have 1-day events, and then we'll have the 2-day regional championships. And I think we're having it in Stittsville. Is that right, Thomas?
Yep.
You
You've got
remember?
one mid-May, I would say.
In Stittsville?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one in mid-May in Stittsville. And yeah. So, and the only question I've got in my mind is what optics that I'm going to run. And I think I was going to run my regular scope with a 45-degree pick rail mounted red dot, but I might just go commando and just shoot it with a regular 3-power and hope for the best. I think I tried it once at Rimfire Race Guns. It didn't work very well, but I don't think you're going to lose the match because of it. You just got to be close, right? Because not everyone. Because I think I can do well everywhere else with the optics.
Here's a question: are we allowed to mount a red dot laser onto it? Because then you can run a magnified optic and just use the red dot laser.
Yeah, you can go to town on it. I mean, it's not like you can. Yeah, wear the nods, the IR.
Yeah. Do IR with nods in broad daylight and see how that works for you.
That'd be awesome. So I don't know how many of you guys are planning to shoot this.
John, I'm planning to.
Yeah, John, are you interested at all in this?
Sammy, who wants to do that? Boring.
Your cup of tea. Oh, you might like it, John.
The amount of ammo I go through already, I can't even go there. I'll stick to ELR testing while you guys blow ammo downrange.
True. Oh yeah, ELR. We got big news on ELR too. We need to finalize that, but we are working on the King of 0.2 Miles sponsor. So that's going to be an event this year, King of 0.2 Miles, which is basically 352 yards times 2. So 352 yards is 0.2 miles. So our max distance is going to be double that, which is 700 yards, which is doable, right, John? Yeah.
Oh, sure. We'll go with that.
So
for some, it's doable.
I can confirm it's doable.
Oh yeah. So actually, so Matt, do you guys have the record? I guess the unofficial record for the longest rimfire hits in Canada.
I'm not sure. I know people claim it, but it's hard to prove anything these days, right? But
no, you're the only guys. You're the only guys that have proved it, so that makes it yes.
Yeah. Okay, so for now, I guess we have the unofficial record, and yeah, it's pretty funny. We started just because we wanted to beat Yannick, because Yannick did something crazy, and Kevin phoned me up. He's like, "Hey, you see what Yannick posted? We got to beat him. Just happen." I was like, "All right, yeah, I'm down. let's do it."
That's awesome.
That's how that's.
We could put it this way: you guys have the farthest documented rimfire impacts.
I maybe, I don't want to say yes, but it's definitely one of the further ones. But for sure, you can push it out further. You just need the place to do it, and we have plans. Trust me, we got some plans coming up.
Nice. That's awesome.
What distance were you again?
The furthest we did was 1,009 yards.
1,009. Because I do believe I seen 1,050-ish.
Okay.
Documented.
Yeah,
that was not
Okay.
Not Canada. Yeah. Anyway, close.
Well, you got to go 1060 then, Matt.
We got plans. I'll leave it at that. We got something in the pipeline. We're gonna try to see if it works out.
Right. Yeah. So man, that's the goal. So that's X22 Challenge Series. So our first match is going to be April at East Elgin. And we will need volunteers. I know that the East Elgin Club is stepping up, and I'm getting emails. The other event that we'll need volunteers for is the May 1st Sniper Series. So for those that don't know, it's a sniper spotter pairs competition, team competition, where it's all unknown distances. Some stages are going to be blind. The stage briefing is given 2 minutes before you start the stage, and it's really a test of mental management and communication more than the gear. So there's really no divisions other than are you shooting or not shooting, and it's how well you can work. So that's gonna be at Ron Sharp. So we are looking for at least 12 volunteers for that. And if you're not shooting, it's a great way to see what it's all about. And we're going to be comping the volunteers with a free entry at any match this year, except for the finals. So it's a free 1-day match entry if you volunteer and help us out, because we need to have static ROs for each of those stages. And static spotters would be great as well, so everyone gets used to it. So it's not he said, she said, or I didn't get that same briefing, which is the most important thing. The briefings have to be the same, obviously, to keep it fair and consistent. And self-ROing is not going to work in those events. So there's already enough going on. So that's it. X22 challenge shoes. You guys have any questions on X22?
Are you gonna run all of them in one day or weekend, like all of those?
The X22 challenge?
Yeah.
It's gonna be 1 day.
It's going to be a busy day.
Well, it's 10 stages, right? So everything is 2 minutes, with the exception of race guns, and then the paper target stage is a squad will shoot at the same time. So you're really not losing that much time. So it's the scoring that becomes intensive, because it's paper-based scoring. So we should be able to do it. Silhouette's easy, right? It's 2 minutes a stage. Rimfire race guns is your stage. Each run shouldn't take longer than 30 seconds. So it might be a little slower, and you do 5 runs every time. So that should be okay. So whatever time we lose on the race gun stages, we'll pick up on the paper target stages, because the whole squad shoots at once. So
what are you using for the paper targets? Which ones? You mentioned it, but I didn't catch which.
Yeah, we have adapted bench rest, 50-meter bench rest.
BR50. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. I think it's exactly that. The 100-meter was, I think the 100-meter. So we'll post it up with a link to it later. I think we posted it in the X22 Challenge Series group, but it probably needs to be resent for folks to start practicing now. It's less than a month away. So yeah, TikTok. I know. Like before this week, everything was months away, and now it's like weeks away, or days away. So that's where all the time I wasted is now coming back to haunt me. Awesome. So that's it. X22 challenge. Any other questions on that? No. So I think that's it. We're about an hour and a half. Hey, shout out to Tesro for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Asmir.
Thank you for, again, all the support you've given, the mentor program, the match rifle loaner, all of the support from day one. The great supportive community we have here, and it's nice to have someone like you from the vendor side, kind of being a great ambassador for what the firearms industry does for the shooting community. It's truly a partnership, and you exemplify how good that partnership can be. So thank you for all the great support and the great chats, and the shawarma. Shawarma's at Asmir's house. I'll bring the beer, you bring the shawarma.
Sounds good. And I have to say that I've been in the shooting community for a couple of decades now, and some of the disciplines are a little bit more established than the others. But I have to say that the big difference with the CRPRS is just the amount of respect towards new shooters, and just the overall respect towards the other shooters. Community has been very friendly, unintimidating, and welcoming to people coming in. And like you mentioned at the beginning, there's been quite a morph of kind of standard setup. So what it was 3 years ago and what it is today, and I think that's gonna get more and more refined as the time goes, and as the series becomes more and more competitive. but it's really important to kind of keep this healthy community going, and I think that's what's really going to keep it going strong for a long time.
Agreed.
Exactly. You have to have that base before the thing about big competition comes into place. Because without that base, without the everyday Joe being able to shoot the one-day matches, the rest is pointless.
Yeah, that's exactly the conversation that Rick and I had 3 years ago when he came to visit me, and I was involved with a couple of different shooting organizations, and we were looking for that entry level, some sort of a way to get people in to be able to get the rifle, to go to Cabela's and buy a rifle, or get the grandpa's rifle, dust it off, get some ammo, and start shooting, and be able to participate. You don't not everybody wants to show up and start being competitive on the first day, but you want to participate, and there wasn't really anything that was available, and now there is, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep spreading the word. It's hard to. I don't know how to. I don't know. So it's we always dance on this fine line of publicizing it, and then you get the wrong people showing up. And what do I mean by wrong people? We all know who the wrong people are, right? It's that attitude, and we've been lucky so far. So right now, I'm keeping it within the word of mouth that the guys that come to our events will invite guys just like them, their friends, right? They'll just keep telling their friends to come and try it out. So far it's working, and our matches are selling out to the maximums that we can have with the COVID and all that. But people say, well, don't you want to grow faster or bigger? So our goal is to organically grow and continue to bring new shooters in and help develop that healthy base of shooters in Canada. If I wish this was around when I started way back when, right? All you could do is keep going to the range and try and get your group smaller and smaller, but that was never going to happen. There was no proper instruction. There was no real format for you to develop or connect with people that are similarly minded, and now I get to sit on a panel with these guys that, my secret to success is always being the dumbest guy in the room and learn from all the smart guys that are willing to include me in their circle. So I want to thank, my shout out this week is to the team Rimfire Nation for allowing me to be part of this group, to accept the little nuggets of knowledge that occasionally drops off their plate, and I can absorb it and make it work for me. So thank you guys for putting up with me, and thank you guys for taking on the lead. I mean, how many match directors do we have in Canada now? Many. How many people are great ambassadors for the sport? Countless, right? Everyone is kind of building on that pattern of the example you guys have set.
Hopefully everyone who's shot a match.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. And so far, and that's, it's, I like seeing it when at the next match, there's him and his buddy, right? And then there's buddy number 2 that comes, and it's great, So that's what. So Kevin brought his friend Shannon from Toronto area. So it's been great. It's been great. So thank you guys for all the effort you guys put into it. Any shout outs from anybody?
Quick shout out to, and I'm not very good with names, so I'm just going to say to whoever shot on my squad last Saturday. Fantastic group of guys. Most of them I was seeing for the second time. I had a blast. It was fun to meet the new shooters, and I don't even want to say I mentored you, but it, to show you the ropes a little bit. Big shout out to my squad and to Chris for organizing the Course of Fire.
Yeah. John, any shout outs from you or Matt?
I think Chris definitely deserves a shout out. That was it was a very good match. And aside from the issue with the hit indicator, things went smoothly there, and that takes a lot of work. So good on you, Chris.
Yeah, people have no idea how much stress that puts on a human being. Yeah, it's awesome. Matt, any shout outs for you?
I mean, since Asmir's here, I'll give him a shout out. Obviously, actually, since the very beginning, last winter, I bought ammo from him almost exclusively because someone at the range mentioned I lived in Bell's Corners at the time. He's like, "You live beside an ammo dealer." I was like, "Oh, sick. Okay, well, I was gonna buy ammo from him." So it's a great resource to have nearby in Ottawa. And recently, of course, we did that huge ammo order, Kevin and I. So yeah, it's just awesome to have him.
How far are you guys through that?
We've been shooting a lot.
I'm just curious how much you shot, because I know you guys.
Yeah. I don't have a solid number for you, but in the winter, throughout the winter, Kevin and I shoot every weekend together. So we've gone through quite a bit. I don't know exactly how much, but it's probably going to last us about 2 years or so. Yeah.
You probably go through like a couple of hundred a session.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, speaking of which, I still need race gun ammo, like cheaper stuff. So I'll hit you up for some more ammo soon.
There you go. Yeah, that's maybe your guy. All right, and that's it, folks. Another good time. So, thanks again, testro.ca, for all your shooting needs: pistols, rifles, ammo, scat trainers. What else? What are some
scopes?
Scopes, optics. What are some items that most folks don't know about you, Asmir?
We just started carrying right-on scopes this year.
Yeah.
We've been carrying Citron and Delta for a couple of years now. I was going to put in a plug for some of the Deltas, but I don't have a huge stock of the new Javelins that came in. I think they're going to be very, very interesting scope for a lot of guys, but we'll talk about it maybe one of the future sessions when I actually have something to show you. But we just started carrying right on. We wanted to we wanted to have a good scope that can be in production. That's the first focal plane, and right on does have a scope, and we think it's going to be a really interesting choice. It's going to be a very good choice. I'm looking forward to hear the feedback from Matt. I know Matt has used it last time. So just check it out, RITON. So just search for right on our website.
Yeah, somebody had that at the match this past weekend, right on scope. Yeah, so I can't remember who it was or how they did, but I remember seeing one. And then Victorinox, you guys carry knives.
We just got our first shipment. This is what I've been fiddling underneath the desk, fidgeting with. So yeah, we just got. We're gonna get a lot more knives soon.
Nice.
Nice. But we just got some Victorinox, really nice shiny knives. So yeah,
you're gonna be a one-stop shop for.
I watched that unboxing you did on that special edition, limited edition one. It was like Kid in a Candy Store or Kid at Christmas.
Matt, that's going to be a one-stop shop for you.
Yeah,
knives,
actually,
ammo, guns.
Asmir, I don't know if you remember, but last year in the summer, I stopped by just to pick up some ammo, and you asked me what knife I was carrying because you noticed some. Yeah. So yeah. I'm a huge knife guy. When I was in university, I had quite a collection. So I like that you're carrying knives now. I can get behind that.
We've been talking about it for years, because when I go to trade shows, there's like a hole that's just knives. Yeah. And then obviously the SHOT Show last time I was there, I checked some out and checked out a couple of brands that we were like to carry. I remember when I would go to EWA, which is the European kind of SHOT Show, they would have, like, if you're a knife guy, you would go in there and you would just be in heaven. Like, they would have anything from these like little micro shops, some Japanese guys that are just making like 4 knives a year, to like big brands. So you can spend like days just perusing it. So, yeah, and knives is the world unto its own.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Do you guys have any questions for me? I mean, I know some of the guys joined late. Just, in general, I think you can ask anything.
When are you going to get more SK rifle match? I know someone's going to try and ask that.
May. So Rapua ammo is coming in May. Rifle match and SK long range. Those are the two that are out of stock, and those are the two that are kind of most popular for as far as the SK is concerned.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something that's comparable to long range, I would recommend you can try SK Bathlon Sport. It's a little bit easier on the pocket too. Some guys have had great success with that. I sound like Borat there. Great success. But it's a little bit cheaper, and we still have some in stock. So, is there ideal ammo for race guns? Same thing, like we said at the beginning. You got to test it. You got to see what, depending on the race gun that you have, the first thing is going to be the function, and then it's going to be the accuracy. Because if it doesn't run smoothly, or if it doesn't run always, then it doesn't matter how accurate it is if it jams. So there's like, we do have a semi-auto sampler pack. I think that would be a good start. There's a couple of different things there, but sometimes race guns, if they are looking for a lot of precision, you might be able to get away with something that's quite inexpensive. So you don't even have to go to the pricey ammo, but test it. I mean, that's for 22. Buy a little bit, go to the range, test it, see how it works, and go from there.
Are you
remember, like, you could be shooting long range precision right after race gun, so you don't want something that's too dirty.
Yeah.
There's the SK magazine, which some guys love, some guys hate, because it's lubed. It's meant for the magazine. It's basically SK Standard Plus packed in these kind of they look
Pringles
like croissant tubes for Pillsbury. But a lot of guys don't like it because it's greasy, right? And it's kind of that greasy feel. But that would be something to try, because it's not too expensive. I think it certainly has enough accuracy for the race guns.
Yeah. Is the mid-range a good sampler pack for us poor guys?
Mid-range sampler is the sampler that was made kind of to start. This is what I send people to start with to testing when they get a new gun, because it start. There's a Standard Plus in there. There's SK Rifle Match. There's a little Elite Club. There's RW Target Rifle, and there's a Center X. So Center X kind of gives you a taste of the caviar a little bit. And then the other ones are all under $10 per box. So and then if you find something that works well for you, you don't need to spend a lot of money. I mean, you can spend quite a bit of money on ammo, but if you find something that works well, and it's a cheaper kind of price range, just stick with that. I mean, at the end of the day, you need ammo that meets your requirements, and if it's a cheaper ammo, then it's great. Yeah.
Awesome.
I got one last question. Asmir, are you going to carry the new SK high velocity ammo that was announced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get it in May. I hope so, because what happens is they would announce things, but then they might not be available. I think Rick and I were chatting about it. I think we're going to do update on the industry and what's going on in the gun industry and the gun world. Given the COVID and given everything that's going on, so we can chat about that. Maybe one of the future podcasts. Things are weird, but with the guns, things get a little bit weirder because there's a lot of regulations about how guns and ammo can move across the border. So anyways, we're gonna carry it. I don't know if we're gonna get it this year though. Probably in the fall for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is a high velocity supposed to be above the long range in quality standards, below, or is it simply just a different velocity offering?
They weren't really that specific in terms of the quality level on it.
Okay.
So I don't know where it's going to land, and SK, we got some SK semi-auto, and the jury's out. A lot of guys call me and say, "Hey, can I? How is this ammo?" And I honestly haven't had enough feedback from the shooters to kind of tell how well it's working. So, but I think we'll know after this season. Lots of guys have semi-autos that they were looking for something that's a little bit more consistent. So hopefully by the end of the season, we'll get some good feedback and be able to kind of see where it lands compared to some of the other ones. SK swag. SK swag is more precious than SK ammo. I only get SK swag if you go to SK. I keep asking for the swag, and then they mail me like a little envelope with like 5 stickers. directly from the factory. So yeah,
I hear Lapua swag is hard to come by in general, right?
yeah. So if you get Lapua boxes, it comes with a little like a card in there. You can scan those, and you get they can get you. I think somebody was telling me that they actually submitted their first. They had enough points to submit for the swag, so they're waiting for it to be mailed out. But I think I gave Rick all my swag, Lapua swag that I had. Lapua swag.
You gave me a bunch for the Clarence Creek match last year.
Their stuff
I had
is
in a
nice.
few Leopold, I believe.
Yeah, hard to come by.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I have a couple of big Ely stickers. They are like gold.
Yeah.
Because they and the same thing with Lapua, and SK. So comment when you order. Comment, ask for stickers. If I have some, I'll throw it in. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks for coming on, Asmir. Thank you, gentlemen. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to post Rimfire Nation podcast Facebook group, and see you guys on the firing line. Thanks, everyone. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.
See you in a week or so.
See ya.